Good morning, welcome to a morning review on Wednesday, 21st of September. Looking at euro dollar first, and yesterday we saw quite a sustained sell-off through the sessions, and with a small bounce, it then continued right the way through to the Asian session. It's now broken a lot of my sort of above being bullish, below being bearish signal, effectively the 5200. If it remains down here, well, I can only be bearish. The only thing I've noticed is it's double bottomed on the prior lows there, so it's seeing a bit of a bounce at the moment. It could hold from that point. It's done it before. Obviously, double bottoms, people will look at them, trade them. It pretty much, as I say, yesterday from 8 o'clock onwards, it sold and sold. But where we're sitting at the moment, where we have got the daily pivots above us, I have not got an oversold signal here, so it could potentially continue in this on this route. It's putting an hourly pivot swing in, which is really a bullish sort of signal, but generally it's a bullish signal. It's, for me, above the 34 moving average where it sits. Well, it may just be an early start. Now, do I want to try and trade that back to the pivot? Probably not today. We have got, of course, if you've been in a different country or somewhere else, you may have missed it, but we do have the FOMC reports, statements, projections, and federal fund rates this evening at 7, and then we've got the Chair Yellen speaking at 7:30. So I expect the markets to consolidate in phases, but with light volumes coming through, just pretty much can happen at times, and we may see some volatility, which is tradable. We'll see, but it can be spiky. Right, so euro dollar. There we go. I would like to say I've got sort of some bullishness there, but from the double bottom there. But overall, it's yuck. Technical term that. You can look in many textbooks and you probably won't find it, for good reason. Now, cable is diverging on the RSI. Yep, there we go. Double divergence now going on here off these lows, and again it's running to yesterday's lows here, but near term lows just popped them. So proper divergence. It could be setting up for some long side here. Still got an untouched weekly pivot now. I think the only chances of that being hit at the moment is if the Feds stay pretty dovish in their text, and I think we will see the dollar sold if that's the situation, and we'll see the pound, the euro flying. But at the moment, it's expectation it's going to be a little bit more hawkish and talk about tightening, and on that basis it's pretty much into the market though. But we may get yet another final sort of push when it's actually said, or if it's actually said. As I say, if it's dovish, the conversation this evening and the comments coming out this evening, I think, well, we'll certainly see some rallies in the European currencies. Did I say European currencies? And England, it's pound. Right, okay. So already hit the daily pivot, that's out of the way. It did get oversold into slightly earlier yesterday, about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock time. It was oversold. It was just a matter of patience, and it's come back, worked off that oversold figure, and now it's certainly not oversold from there. So got the potential for well, either way at the moment, and I'm really looking, well, potentially the easiest route, and what we've got here is to the downside. Okay, but of course when that happens, generally, of course, they end up trading it the other way for some reason or other, short term. Dollar yen, well, that's all I can say. Let's look at the bigger picture here, and you can see what's happening. Now, they've apparently the Bank of Japan has scrapped their monetary base framework in favour of yield curve control, which all of you very bright people out there possibly won't understand either. And I don't think they really understand what they're doing any longer, but it seems to have done the trick to soften the yen for a little while. But history has it that it softens for a while, and then, well, we've seen this. Look, and it's already turning around here, and we may see a continuation to the downside. Of course, if the US are hawkish, later on we'll see a continuation. But look at the hourly pattern through this sort of expectation of a hawkish outcome, and it's still been strengthening regardless of what the Bank of Japan have done. I think they're really trying to struggle. It's a bit of an uphill task at the moment for them, but they are saying that they've got inflation now, and then no longer suffering with deflation. Well, there we go. Now that could happen if commodity prices start increasing around the world, and that may be their best shot in the arm, but it could is the answer. Aussie dollar, well, it held on to its gains yesterday it did quite well, but it's just sitting there in a chop zone here, and whenever it seems to do that, I don't have a lot of faith in it. It chopped around the bottom here, managed to push up. It's chopping around here, and I think, well, if it breaks the lows, well, it'll roll over back towards the weekly pivot. And it's all the ifs and buts and everything else, and I think a lot of this relies on later on's meeting. But you can see it's barely moved out of there's quite a tight range there. So 34 to 40, let's say, just because it's easier. 40 to okay, 120 pip range isn't too shabby, I suppose. Let's just check that, or I just can't calculate. Oh, beg your pardon, 280. I can't even rubbish there. I wasn't looking at the second decimal point. Right, so 280 pip range, but it's consolidating. Maybe if it can start breaking the highs. It's had lots of goes at this. If it can break the highs, it will continue pushing up north back towards the monthly pivot, and may this time break on through again. Right, Canadian dollar. Before I do that, let's just have a quick look at what's going on with oil. Oil's making a recovery. Right, okay, that's probably helping the Aussie dollar there as well. But the Canadian dollar really does help, and once again we've got back up to these historical highs. It's been sitting around it. Yesterday it made another attempt to get back up, say historical recent highs, and it's now selling once again. To me, with the oil price pushing as it is, it looks bearish, bearish US dollar, so it's got a chance it may come back towards yesterday's lows at 200. Hourly 200 would seem a good target for the short side. That's pretty much it. As I said, news-wise today, I think we've seen the Japanese data already released. That's out there. That might just be dissolved as we go through the day, quite likely, if history is anything to go by. We've got the public sector net borrowing at 9:30 UK. That sometimes gives us a little blip on disappointing numbers, so it's something to be aware of. It's not a tradable bit of news. It's not generally post-tradable either, so it doesn't normally give a massive move, but we may get some volatility around that time. Thereafter, really, crude oil inventories in at 3:30. That does give some good volatility, in particularly with the CAD at the moment. It's at 3:30. Thereafter, wait for 7 o'clock, and we'll maybe able to trade it after then, and trade the trend and the new trend that occurs after that point. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.